Thing about Ashton Jeanty, and there were lists out there of running backs, top running backs for the 2024 football season, where Ashton Jeanty wasn't even listed in the top 5. I think I remember seeing one list, he wasn't even on the top 10. And Ashton Jeanty's name was out there, certainly, but it wasn't a landslide of social media stuff that we've seen in the last 2 months. There's no doubt about it. And a lot of this stuff starts at 32 NFL football fields where reporters and scouts and personnel directors, and they all stand around because there's a lot of free time and mini camps and OTAs, and they start talking about, the next year's crop and the next year's class. And this conversation's about Ashton Jeanty this fall and how his fall translates into the 2025 NFL draft. And all these college football and all these NFL and pro football experts, this PFF stuff, all these guys, the ESPN guy, all these guys are basing it and saying that Ashton Jeanty is now one of the top running backs. Phil Steele, by the way, and I couldn't confirm this. I saw one person do it. I don't think Phil Steele's put his stuff out. Does Phil Steele have Ashton Jeanty ranked number 1 in his magazine?
I haven't seen the
Somebody
magazine.
tweeted it. Somebody tweeted that Ashton Jeanty is the number 1 ranked running back in this class. Phil Steele's top 75 draft-eligible running backs for the 2024 college football season. Ashton Jeanty, Boise State, number 1. That to me blew me away.
Yeah. I picked up Athlon's magazine the other day, and he was listed as a second-team All-American. And I thought, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. And then today, one of the things we noticed was ESPN Plus had a ranking of running backs, and they had 2 experts that they tout as experts, Jordan Reed and Matt Miller, and they both ranked their top 5 running backs. One of them, Jordan Reed, had Ashton Jeanty as number 1, and the other guy, Miller, did not have him listed amongst his 5.
Yeah, well, there's still people out there trying to figure it out. Jordan Reed's exact quote: "No rusher in the country forced more missed tackles last year, parentheses 100, than Boise State RB Ashton Jeanty. One of the reasons why he's my RB1 entering this next season." That's pretty high praise. And Football Insights on Twitter also said missed tackles and production opportunities per game. Notable drafted running back since 2021 with next year's class, Ashton Jeanty has to be the most elusive and productive amongst all those running backs playing football this fall. So there's other people out there comparing him to Kareem Hunt of the NFL. There's one guy out there, and they were asking him about comps about Ashton Jeanty, and I don't know who this guy even was, but it just made me laugh. And he said, Barry Sanders, and I'm only half kidding. And another guy responded, Ashton Jeanty is pretty darn special. And another guy responded, he's better than Barry Sanders. Well, let's not get too carried away, but there's all kinds of fun stuff out there. Ashton Jeanty is getting more love. And you asked me this in Cubicleville before we went on the air. I think you're 100% spot on. Has a Boise State running back, and specifically, let's just say a Boise State football player outside of Kellen Moore, ever had more preseason love than Ashton Jeanty? I don't think so.
No, I was going to say Martin, who was a first-round pick, Ajayi, who had wonderful seasons. I don't think people nationally had them on the radar the way they have Jeanty on the radar for this season.
I know you guys, when I was on vacation the other day, had Dane Brugler of The Athletic on, and JP is going to play you a little clip. His 2 comments that I found on Twitter: Jeanty turns a 4-yard loss into a first down almost every time. Yeah, he's a legit RB1 candidate for this season. Dane Brugler, Boise State RB Ashton Jeanty is a nightmare to tackle. Short and thick, 5'8", 270 pounds, with quick feet, body balance, and run strength. Jeanty is a dude. Here's Dane Brugler of The Athletic, and I believe this was here on Idaho Sports Talk just a couple of days ago.
The player I saw on film, the player that I studied from last year is an outstanding player. I'm putting together kind of my early running back rankings right now, and I think Jeanty has a good chance to finish as running back 1 for me, or at least start the season as running back 1, I should say that. And then we'll see how the season goes. I think he's as talented as anyone in this draft class in terms of being the best back. He is in the conversation to be running back 1. And I do think there's enough good running backs in this class where I don't think we're going to see a consensus running back 1 in this draft class. But I think there will be, I will not be alone in having Jeanty as going into the year as running back 1 in terms of the draft rankings. And then it's on him to see if he holds on to that and, can send off to Ollie Gordons and the Ohio State kids and Marion Hampton in North Carolina and all these talented backs we see around the country. But again, he has the talent to do it. I want to see him be a little more complete with the ball security, with the blocking. But the way he runs, there's a little bit of Ray Rice, Maurice Jones-Drew, like kind of the shorter guys that could pack the punch, but could also make you miss, that were good out of the backfield. Those types of backs, that plays at the next level. And so, I think I'm really bullish on Jeanty and what he could be at the NFL level.
PF Network says Prater. He's well leveraged, excellent mass and balance. He's fluid. He weaves through congestion and explodes through gaps. Rating near blue chip, late first, early second. He is a 3-down back and gives defenses nightmares.
He does give defenses nightmares. I'm not going to buy any of the draft stuff. Let's and I know you're just reading somebody else's, but that's jumping the gun for me because he's got to get through his season healthy. His attributes and his personal contributions to this football team are unparalleled right now. And somebody else on Twitter called him a twitchy athlete. I thought that was kind of unique. I didn't really think of him as twitchy. Good contact balance, soft hands out of the backfield, creative runner in space. My early comp is Jahmyr Gibbs, and somebody else on Twitter, NFL Draft Files, I'm not sure what that is, but he said he's enamored with Ashton Jeanty, a prowess as a pass catcher, sudden elusiveness, and the visions to have the shades of Jahmyr Gibbs, a franchise-changing player. So there's a couple of people out there comparing him to Jahmyr Gibbs. And one more quick one. There's a site out there that takes a look at draft prospects, and they give them a grade going into their draft-eligible year. For instance, Bijan Robinson out of Texas, who is a first-round draft pick with Atlanta, in the last 10 years had the highest draft prospect grade at 71%. Mm-hmm. Saquon Barkley is second at 7.48% in terms of whatever criteria they use. He is the draft-ready guy based on this criteria and these numbers. Number 4 on this list, by the way, at 70.07% is Christian McCaffrey. I skipped number 3 for a reason, because Ashton Jeanty, according to this formula, is the third highest running back draft prospect based on their criteria of anybody going into the NFL right now. Bijan Robinson, Saquon Barkley, Ashton Jeanty, and Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, that's company.
Yes.
That is company. Looking at, the best running backs that seem to end up on the list with Jeanty are the 2 Ohio State guys, Quinshon Judkins, who is the transfer from Ole Miss, as well as Travion Henderson, Trevor Etienne, the running back at Georgia, who just came from Florida, Ollie Gordon II at Oklahoma State, and Amarion Hampton at North Carolina. Those seem to be the names that surface all the time. I get the feeling, looking at all of these lists, that they think Jeanty has an edge at catching passes over all of these.
He's good. He's good at catching passes. He's going to catch 500 yards worth of passes, if you ask me. We'll see how Dirk Cutter plays that out. I think he's pretty darn good at pass pro. Can he get better? Absolutely, he can get better at pass pro. But I think he checks all the boxes. Dane Brugler there of The Athletic talked about ball security. That was his one red flag last year. But over his entire career, I'm not sure it's a red flag, because he's been pretty good. He had that fumble in his very first ever game, and I think he went almost 2 full seasons without even losing the ball. Last year it became a little bit, he went through the rest of that first season without any more fumbles. Last year it became a little bit more of an issue. We'll see if it is this year. I know that Dirk Cutter is going to make that a massive emphasis. We saw a lot of that in the spring camp. Here's somebody else that made me laugh. The Ashton Jeanty bandwagon might be standing room only at this point. Holy cow, he's special. Good luck to all the defenders who step in front of this man. I thought that was kind of funny. But here's my favorite comment. And again, I didn't even write down who this person was, but it was just hilarious. And as a guy who spent 35 years writing words and being an editor and working for the newspaper, this is good. As a creative threat, Jeanty possesses a devastating illusion fusion that combines crisp agility, lower body flexibility, post-cut explosiveness, effortless contact balance, and a sixth sense level of spatial understanding and feel. The fusion makes him almost one of one. Illusion fusion, Bob. I've never heard of the word illusion fusion.
Should I work that into the broadcast?
Ashton Jeanty has illusion fusion, and that's what makes him special, Bob.
CBSSports.com has a list, and they rank him. And I know we're not talking about draft, but just this shows you what kind of company he's in. They rank the top 10 offensive prospects for the draft. They list him at 8, and they only have one running back in front of him. And I've seen the running back, and I kind of don't rate Damian Martinez, the guy that was at Oregon State, better than him. He's now at Miami. But to give you an idea, there are 2 quarterbacks and 3 offensive tackles that are in the top 7.
Wow. And one more guy said, don't let the fact that Ashton Jeanty plays in a smaller conference disguise the fact that this kid is a certified baller. He's the best dual threat running back in the entire country. So
I don't disagree with that.
I thought that was pretty good. So Ashton Jeanty was not a massive social media star 2 to 3 months ago. This summer has been very kind to him. A lot of people have discovered this dude, and he hasn't even carried the football yet. I cannot wait until they put the football in his hands on August 31st.
This video segment has been presented by the Dollar Loan Center, funding loans for 25 years at don'tbebroke.com. We're quick, inexpensive, safe, regulated, and are thrilled to be opening 16 locations soon in Idaho. Apply online for up to $5,000 at don'tbebroke.com. For a limited time, your first loan is even free. And download the KTIK app and stream KTIK wherever you go, available in your phone's app store. Tom Brady is going to ascend to the top color commentary position for Fox. Prater thinks he's going to be outstanding. We'll pick Prater's brain next when we come back on Sports Radio The Ticket.
From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Studios, this is Ticket Traffic.